who acts out of goodness. The love of God, realized and lived out through that life, is good. Ultimately, I believe as a Christian that the good is stronger than the evil. As a Christian, we believe, perhaps it seems just theological, but that in the resurrection of Jesus, evil was overcome, and its ultimate defeat is assured. We have a lot of work still to do to come at it. So.
With respect to that answer, in Islam, the idea of sin, could you explain?
Actually, I tell you something. How do you know the importance of health if you are not sick? You have to go through hardships to know the value of goodness in your life. So the sin is existing, and we have to accept it. And it's in the Bible, to err is human, and to forgive is, yes. So, and we are sinners. So we have to commit sins. We have to. This is part of our humanity, to commit sins, because there must be a God to resort to ask His forgiveness, and to know that you did something wrong, and you have to correct it, you have to amend it, you have to fix it. If it's related to God, it's between you and God. God will forgive you if you repent to Him sincerely. But if that sin, that mistake, that wrong action is related to another fellow human being, you have to ask His forgiveness first before God grant you forgiveness. Okay, and there will be a punishment either in this life or in the hereafter, the next life, for committing sins. Because even if you have two children, one is never made a mistake, and the other one all the time makes mistakes. So you will not deal with them equally. The same on the day of judgment. We will not be equal. We will not be at the same level of, I'm talking about my own Islamic perspective, that we will not be at the same level in the paradise. Okay? The same, can be adopted in this life. Okay.
Lane, sin, evil.
I don't, if you ask me to describe a sin, it would be something that is done that hurts somebody else. And it would have to be a big hurt. I mean, I think mistake is not a sin. And it was interesting because part of Jewish tradition for Yom Kippur, we say over and over again that if you have wronged somebody, you have to get their forgiveness. God can't give it to you. You have to do it. So that's some way that we're alike. I think that there is unpleasant. When you talk about the young man who went into the movie theater and killed somebody, the word sin doesn't come to my mind. To me, that's just a tragedy, and that young man is insane, if you want to use that word. Something is wrong with him, and why that happened to him is something, if we could find out more about that, we could maybe solve some of these things. But I just don't think of it as a sin, because I'm not sure he was in control of what he did. Does that make sense? I mean, he's ill, and that's why he did that.
A quick comment in connection with both of your comments about human beings and sinning between human beings and God. In the High Holy Day liturgy, liturgy, it says specifically that one is not forgiven by God for one's sins in the Jewish tradition until one is forgiven by one's fellow man for their sins. So it's very much.
Christians take note. We need to be more intentional.
Excuse me? What did you say?
I say we need to be more intentional about that as well.
Well, we hope, regardless of tradition, I think. Is there any particular, well, could you explain the special meaning about the dress? That you, how you wear dress?
Oh, I have been actually asked this question by my brother Malik. Why are we dressing like this? You know, this is the dress that we wear in the Al-Azhar back in Egypt. And this is mostly the uniform dressed by those graduated from Al-Azhar. And we have to respect, this is, more comfortable for me than, wearing the casual. Actually, and I like to wear like this. Once I go out, once I deliver a speech or a sermon, I have to wear like this. Because this is the tradition of mine. But it's not from Islam to stick to one uniform. It's up to you. Since, it's modest, it's up to you. Yes.
And
there is no specific way. And the turban or the face, also, it's from, it's a tradition. It's not from Islam. So you can find Turkish all the time wear something related or like this. The Turkish sister continue. And the Morocco, they have the same. And they have also different, turban or face like this. In Saudi Arabia, you can find the circle, the black circle. In Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, they have different also dressing. In Pakistan, they have different dressing. So this is a tradition.
The colors or shape?
No. We have different colors. We have different colors, but this is the most suitable because this is dark. So you have to wear something white to attract the attention.
You have to be coordinated.
This. I don't know what color you like.
Similar vestments, Nancy, when you lead services.
That tradition varies widely among Christians. In what we would call liturgical churches, Presbyterians being one of them, a minister might wear a robe. A lot of times its source is academic. It's an academic gown. Sometimes in an Episcopal church and a Catholic church, vestments would be a little more elaborate than that. Might vary. Stoles is what we wear around our neck. It varies by the colors of the church year. But that's used to lead worship. And if I remember back to my seminary days, the reason was so that we can, those of us who are leading worship can cover what it is that's human, what we may use as human beings to separate us and to distinguish us in whatever way we might value that, so that our focus is on the leading of worship and not on human guards and human attire and human trappings.
I'm going to ask each of you this question, so I'll give you a warning. Imam, what in your community, how does one become recognized as an imam?
Look, first of all, most of people in Egypt, those graduated from Al-Azhar, most of them, they work as imams because they are the ones that have much knowledge about the religion, the Sharia, and the Quran, and the tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him. But, as I said, Islam is not confined into Al-Azhar. Okay? You can find other people working as imams, and some of them, they are better than me. This is something to, confess here. But it's, in Azhar, we study more courses about Islam. And they teach us the moderate Islam, not, to be this way or that way. This is the way that we follow in Al-Azhar, in the school in Al-Azhar. Also, most people, they respect Al-Azhar because it is connected to the deen, the religion of Islam. But the governmental education in Egypt, mostly they focus on practical sciences, not Sharia or religion or religious subjects. So that's why. And also, in order to work as imam, you have to go through competitions and tests. It's not easy, tough, and rugged, process. You have to be examined by, professors and the whole Quran. You have to memorize the whole Quran, and you have to have considerable knowledge of or background of the tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him. You have to know about the terminology of the tradition of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, and you have to know also some points or some parts of the biographies of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the biography, the history of Islam, anything related to the religion. You have to know something about it, okay? And it has to be, more, concentrated, not to know the tribe things.
From your perspective, Elaine, a rabbi.
Okay. Well, I think, Peter, am I right? Rabbi means teacher. So the first thing is, the rabbi's not the way you get to God. He's just there to give you information. You are related to God just, by yourself. You don't have to go through anybody else. You don't have to be a rabbi to lead the congregation. Peter's not a rabbi, and he comes all the time to our temple and does an excellent job. But if you are a rabbi, you've definitely had a 4-year college education, at least at one of the different universities that will enable you to be a Reform rabbi or a conservative rabbi or an Orthodox rabbi. Each has their own school. Of course, I think you can switch between them, can't you? I mean, if you, right. But anyway, you definitely have to be knowledgeable about the Bible and various traditions. We have lots of traditions. Somebody else is going to talk about that in the Jewish religion. But it's definitely a person with education. Somebody with no education would have a very hard time saying that they're a rabbi. They would not be accepted by any congregation.
And for you, Nancy, leader within?
It varies tremendously amongst Protestant denominations. I can't speak to the Catholic tradition. I know in Presbyterian, to be a minister, you would have a Master of Divinity degree, which is a graduate degree, 3 years, and then you would meet what we call the ordination standards of the Presbyterian of the denomination. Usually those are tests to be sure that your knowledge of the Bible, your knowledge of theology, your knowledge of polity, the way we govern ourselves is adequate, and also a sense of call. Presbyterians, Protestants, Christians believe we're all called by God and gifted by God to do certain tasks. And in the call process, in that recognition process, you would be asked, why do you sense that God has gifted you to this particular role? Not that this role is higher or has more honor or in any way more authority. You're particularly gifted or called by God to serve. And I consider it to be a servant role more than any kind of authority over anyone.
Imam, what are your core values to say about the role and place of women?
The same, my friend told me about it before coming here. In Islam, the women, they are the other half of the whole community. Islam. And if you look, the woman or the female in Islam, she's my mother, she's my wife, she's my daughter, she's my sister. So imagine how can I treat her bad. We have, since they are the other half of the whole, the whole humanity, we have to respect them. And in the Quran, we have a holy chapter, more than 200 verses, talking about the status of women in Islam. And we have also another chapter, a smaller one, almost 30 verses, talks also about the process of divorce or something like this. Okay. Before Islam, there was some bad habits that Islam came and denounced. Islam came and condemned these habits, like killing baby girl and burying them alive, which Islam came and told people that on the day of judgment, the one who buries his daughter alive, she will come in front of God and she will ask him, why you buried me alive? So imagine, and if you go through the history of Islam, you will find Khadija, the Prophet's first wife. She was the main, person in the whole religion of Islam. Without her, God knows, the Prophet, our Prophet, she was his first wife. She did much to Islam, more than any, other one. Okay, the Prophet's, daughters, all of them, they were women, females. Okay, and he, namely the Prophet, peace be upon him, he urged us to, advise us and ordered us also to respect the woman. The last word he said, peace be upon him, before dying, while he was on the bed of death, that take care of the woman, take care of the woman. And he warned also us against, dealing with them badly. But still, do not take a case or a situation or an event or incident to be the whole picture of Islam. No.
Well,
even in Muslim countries, you can find judges in Egypt, they are females, in Pakistan, Prime Minister, and in Saudi Arabia. However, some mass media they talk about banning them to drive. We have Saudi Arabians. They let their wives drive peacefully. But there are some kind of traditions that they are a little bit away from the tradition values. Okay. And in Islam also, the woman, if there is a case and there has to be two witnesses, the woman or a woman, one single woman, is equal to a man. So if we have two witnesses, a woman and a man, they are two equal. But in the in the matter, in the case of inheritance, God took care of this issue, so we have nothing to do with it. Okay.
So how would you feel personally about other countries and within your culture that deal with women in a different manner?
Like here in America, with me?
Just not giving them equal.
Look,
rights.
here I have heard
Yes.
about some American, and you can go to YouTube and you can find how their husbands deal with them.
Absolutely.
However, they are not Muslims, but they are dealing with them in a very bad way. Look at the courts. I think you can watch. There is a channel here, TV channel, court. They talk about the courts, and you can find some cases. But we are all different. There is no exception. Muslims, Christians, Jews, any kind of religion, you will find, this and that.
You're ready for that question. Good. Elaine, similar question. Role of women.
There's no difference in the Jewish tradition. Women can do anything that men can do, and they have absolutely the same rights. I don't know any right that a man has that a woman doesn't have.
Okay.
And I think we're very staunch for women's rights when we speak up.
And a woman be a rabbi?
Yeah.
Well, why did it take until 1972?
Sorry.
Why did it take until 1972?
It shouldn't have.
Good answer. Nancy.
I think the answer, the broad answer, of course, is total equality. Christian congregations, women, men work side by side. Presbyterian, equality, elders who are our lay leaders that we elect, male and female. In the Presbyterian Church that we serve, Presbyterian Church USA, women fully able to be, obviously, ministers. Not every denomination, not every Protestant denomination feels the same way. You may be surprised about who does and who doesn't, but for the most part, most Christian denominations would allow women in all roles of leadership. There are still some, of course, the Catholic Church. I hope you're following that challenge. Where there are nuns in the U.S. who are working towards that. Someday, perhaps, women can be priests in the Catholic Church. And other Protestant denominations make their choice based on their belief about how they interpret Scripture.
Very succinctly, if you could, Imam, in 3 sentences or less, could you explain the place of jihad within the tradition and what it is?
I'll ask a question. Imagine that I am coming, I'm not a Muslim, and I'm coming to, get everything, or kill you in your house. What you will do? You will say, kill me, or you will defend yourself with every possible means. So in Islam, jihad has a different meaning. As I've said in the beginning, and as I've said, the mass media, they tell people lies about, the place of jihad in Islam. Jihad means striving against any kind of evil. Okay, striving against the evils in our inners. Okay, and if you are able to overcome this first, you can go ahead and struggle against the evils around. And I'm sure all of us, we are not able to overcome or control the evils in our inners. But as I've said in the beginning, when it comes to defending ourselves or oneself, this is some kind of jihad. Okay, I will not wait, as I've said, till someone comes, take my property, kill my wife, kill my daughters, or rape them in front of me, and I say, hey, it's okay, go ahead, do whatever you want. I'm sure, even for the atheists, even for those who does not believe in a God or any other religion, they will do the same. They will defend themselves. Okay. So jihad, even if you read the Bible, you will find Jesus. One of the sisters said yesterday, Jesus himself said about himself, I came by carrying a sword. So what does it mean to have a sword in your hand? Okay. In Arabian Peninsula, the Muslims in that early age, they defended themselves against the atrocities practiced against them by the Qurayshite. They took everything they had, so they had to get that things back. By what? They tried by peaceful means. And we have if you read the Islamic civilization or the Islamic cultural history, you will find this. The Prophet ﷺ, concluded many contracts with the Jews in the Medina and with the Qurayshite. But some of them they breached violated the terms of the items of the contract. Nowadays, there is no place for jihad because all of us, every country has its own military to defend their borders. So they are responsible for defending us, not for us, not us.
Okay, we're out of time, but just one quick question that I would like all of you to respond to. If you were to say one single value that is dearest to you from your tradition, what would you identify that as?
This question for me or for all of us?
Well, for you first.
Actually,
Single.
yeah. The religion of Islam, actually, as I'm a Muslim, as I've told you in the beginning, my first wife was about to be a Christian nun. So imagine that. And I love, I have many, Christian friends. Jews, no, I don't have, because, as you know, Egypt we don't have, many Jews. But if we have, I'll go ahead and, have friendship with them. To live in this world, we have to live in peace and love, and, we have to respect each other, because, as I've said, this life is temporary. There is nothing worth in this life to, to lose a fellow human.
Nancy? Yes.
I want to say God so loved the world that we are called, because of that love, to share it with others.
Okay. Angela?
I just want to say you now have a Jewish friend.
Yes, too. I'm sorry, Peter, Peter was my first friend.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you.
One quick value.
I don't know. We say that the Jews are the chosen people. We don't know what we were chosen for. Sometimes it's not good. But I like to think that there's something in the prayer book that we read, that we were chosen to be a light to other nations. And so we have to do all those things that I told you as a light to other nations. That's what we were chosen for.
Okay. Thank you all, and I'm sure you'll stick around for a few minutes.
Before we go ahead, I'd like to repeat myself. If you would like to know something about Islam, you can search about an Islamic, center around you, and we are so close to you. My brother Bilal, he provided, his phone number, and you have the phone number of the Islamic Center. This is the place that you can ask about Islam. This is the place that you can get the information about Islam from. Do not listen, please, do not listen to Fox News in particular. Because, we have, thank you so much.
There is some